They told us the Great Chicago Fire of 1871 was a disaster, a roaring inferno that leveled everything from homes to history. But what if that story is a carefully constructed illusion? What if, instead of a tragedy, what unfolded in Chicago was the single greatest cover-up in modern history, an erasure and replacement of an entire civilization? Take a closer look at these before and after photographs. The cityscape, supposedly turned to ash, is reborn in brick and stone within a year. But zoom in, really look at those new buildings. The stone is already pitted and worn. The facades show decades, if not centuries, of weathering. The corners are softened by time, not by the hand of a 19th century mason. Ask yourself, how could structures allegedly built in 1872 already bear the scars of 100 years? The numbers simply don't add up, unless these buildings weren't new at all. Unless what we're seeing is not construction, but rebranding. Not a city rebuilt, but a city replaced. And then there's the mystery of the buried first floors. Walk the streets of old Chicago, and you'll find windows peering out at sidewalk level, doors that open directly into earth, and steps that descend into basements that were once ground floors. Why would anyone design a city this way, unless these buildings were originally constructed at a different elevation, in a different era, and only later unearthed, their lower stories swallowed by the dirt of deliberate burial? Official records trumpet the miraculous rebuild of Chicago. 2 years, they say, is all it took. But when you lay the 1870 blueprints beside those from 1873, a different story emerges. The new city's street grid is a perfect overlay of the old, but with subtle, telling differences. The alignment of blocks and boulevards follows not the logic of modern urban planning, but the pathways of ancient energy lines, ley lines, mapped in the esoteric traditions of civilizations lost to time. It's as if the fire wasn't a disaster, but a smokescreen, an excuse to dig up what was already there and to rename it as something new. One worker's diary from 1871, now tucked away in a private archive, reveals a chilling truth. They brought us here not to build, but to uncover. The instructions were clear: dig deep, move earth, and expose the stones beneath. The workers, thinking they were laying the foundations of the future, were in fact unearthing the bones of the past. The deception didn't end with the fire. In 1893, Chicago dazzled the world with the world's Columbian Exposition, the so-called White City. Historians marvel at the speed and scale of construction, but look at the rare surviving footage. The workers are not building, they are removing dirt. Time-lapse photos reveal intact facades emerging from the earth, the dust of centuries brushed away in weeks. There are no scaffolds, no cranes, no telltale marks of recent masonry. The stone is seamless, the joints invisible. The construction is nothing more than an excavation. Peer beneath the foundations of the fair's grand palaces, and you'll find another anomaly. There's no mortar, no evidence of 19th century tools. Instead, the stone is cut and fitted with a precision lost to our era. It's as if these buildings were never meant to be seen, or perhaps not meant for us at all. An internal memo from 1892, hastily scribbled and never meant for public eyes, reads, "Dispose of all pre-excavation photographs." What were they so desperate to hide? What truths lay in the images destroyed in the dead of night? And why does the demolition record from the end of the fair list anomalous materials, substances with no known origin, removed under the cover of darkness? Fast forward to the present. In 2023, a team of urban explorers stumbles upon something extraordinary beneath Millennium Park. Active copper wires, deep underground, snaking through forgotten tunnels. These conduits, still humming with dormant energy, lead nowhere visible. Modern electricians are baffled. This wiring shouldn't exist. It predates Edison by at least 50 years. And yet, when tested, the wires spark to life. Even more bizarre, recent utility maps confirm a tangled web of inactive power lines running beneath the loop, never documented in any city plan. Then, the inexplicable happens. Voltage spikes ripple through these hidden grids, perfectly synchronized with mysterious pulses recorded in Siberia, thousands of miles away. Coincidence? Or evidence of a global network? One that once powered a civilization erased from our textbooks? Chicago, it seems, was just the test run. Satellite images reveal similar rebuild patterns in other major cities. London, gearing up for a grand renovation on the anniversary of its own Great Fire in 296. Tokyo, scheduled for massive earthquake retrofits in 24. The signs are everywhere. Streets torn up under the guise of repaving, ancient symbols etched into modern construction barriers, whole neighborhoods transformed overnight. Ask yourself, why is your city suddenly obsessed with infrastructure renewal? Why are blueprints being quietly revised? What are they really digging for beneath our feet? The evidence is hiding in plain sight. The Chicago Historical Society's own archives show pre-1871 buildings adorned with arches and motifs not found in any Western architectural canon, signatures of a lost society. Tartaria, whose influence we are only now beginning to rediscover. The demolition records from the 1893 fair are filled with references to materials and artifacts carted away by night, never cataloged, never explained. And the utility maps from just last year confirm what many have long suspected: a hidden layer, an ancient grid, pulsing just below the surface. They're not fixing infrastructure, they're mining it. They're not preserving history, they're rewriting it. The past is not what you've been told, so look around. Next time you see a manhole cover glowing or feel the ground tremble beneath your feet, remember, the story of civilization is written in stone, buried in dirt, and encrypted in the networks we've only just begun to decipher. What comes next? The reset is already underway. Are you ready to see what lies beneath your own city?